Hey guys, welcome to the April 15th programming video. Um, Overview for the week in CrossFit. Last week we introduced this idea of functional bodybuilding. That was the 4 rounds at 4 different stations for 90 seconds. I didn't get a chance to do it in class that day, but I did it the Sunday before, and I found it brutal, and it was a lot of fun too. Expect to see that every week for the next couple weeks here. So we did it on Monday last week. We'll do it on Tuesday this week. Next week it goes to Wednesday, and we'll kind of follow that format for the next couple weeks. We'll kind of change to the next day of the week for the next week there. Also, last week we hit deadlifts and we hit front squats. You can expect to kind of see that sequence happening over the next several weeks. It's very similar to our old strength training template. So this week we won't do front squats because we kind of blew out those quads last week. But at the end of this week, we're going to do a press day and a deadlift day, and we'll start the week after that with some front squats. And by the end of the week, we'll get back to our press and deadlift. And look to see those numbers start to change a little bit too in the strength training, where we go from more volume and less weight to more weight and less volume as we get through the month on that. All right. And then for CVC, we're still in our confidence month. We've got our confidence strength training this week, which is going to be deadlifts as well. So those days actually marry up by the end of this week. And then we'll be doing our confidence test later this month. So in CrossFit, Monday, we're just starting out with an aerobic day there. It's got a little bit of coordination and skill work in there with the double unders. So start out with a row to cash in, and then jumping right into these movements, 15 box jumps, 15 light thrusters, and double unders that stay moving constantly. Looking at a 15 to 20 minute cardio workout here. So it's a pretty fast-paced cardio there. If we go longer than 20 minutes, then our pace starts to slow down a little bit. So we're going to keep a pretty high breathing rate through this one. Expect to get some double under practice in there, get some rowing technique practice in there, and stay efficient on your thrusters. And then we've got some cash out work with sit-ups and kettlebell good mornings. May have the option to kind of amp these up a little bit if you need to by adding some weight to those weighted sit-ups as well. For CVC, we've got a very balanced day in this confidence workout. Nothing in these movements actually has you moving too fast. So it's a great way to pace, but still get a ton of work in with this confidence interval, because it's 24 minutes of work with this, but nothing moves too fast. It paces itself that day. There's a chance to get comfortable with those half get-ups. The real cardio will come after class when you start doing your jump rope practice if you decide to stick around for that. All right, our functional bodybuilding day. I'm really liking these days here. It's a chance to work on both push-ups and pull-ups this day. So strict variations of pulls, all the way from chest to bar down to ring rows or banded pull-ups are an option as well. And then you're actually going to be doing some unbroken sets of push-ups with a burnout of tricep extensions on there, and then great core work with L-sits or planks or hanging knee raises. And then the overhead walking lunge just throws in total body overhead stability and lower body range of motion there. Since it's about bodybuilding, I know I was supposed to go heavy, but I found myself breathing a little bit heavy when I was doing this for the last version. I can't wait to see how this works out as well. But it's really not a cardio day, so we've got a good cardio cash out there with a 1.5 mile run if you decide to do that. So going into this commitment day on Tuesday, it looks pretty tough. Shuttle run, ring crunches, double kettlebell rack squats, dumbbell snatch, looking at 10s and 9s, a lot of those on this day. This is going to be a high intensity day with this commitment, and it's going to stay high intensity on the cash out where you start to work on those dumbbell hang cleans. We've been doing this quite a bit now for the past couple months, and I'm seeing people getting really comfortable with this movement and really being able to move some weight here. So by that last set of 7, people are moving a good amount of weight there, understanding how to get their hips to move the weight and not their arms. Wednesday in CrossFit, we've got a uniquely structured workout. It's very interesting. So every 6 minutes you start work, but the work that you're doing is supposed to be done as fast as you can, so you get plenty of rest in between each set of work. So it starts out with 3 rounds of this couplet of kettlebell swings and burpees. The idea is to get that done as fast as possible, maximize your rest, Then at the 6-minute point, you're doing another couplet, very similar in movement, the power snatch and the burpees over the barbell. Give yourself some rest at the 12-minute point. You're now adding an extra round to that couplet, but decreasing the number of reps per round. So still trying to keep that intensity high there. Same concept at the last 18-minute effort there. So if you were to record this, and it's set up and beyond the whiteboard this way, if you were to record this, you would record the amount of working time that you have that day. So we're talking about over the course of about 20 plus minutes of work, you only doing about 12 to 13 minutes of work. So when you're working hard there. We will introduce the hang power snatch to everybody in class. And that may be just using a PVC pipe to get used to that movement. If you don't want to do the hang power snatch in the workout, you've got kettlebell swings as an option. We will cover the power snatch, which involves not the hang position where you're kind of pulling the bar from just above your knees, but actually pulling the bar all the way from the ground. We'll introduce those concepts, time permitting in class, but definitely in the skills acceleration class that day. Wednesday in Stanton is going to be a lot of fun. It's a partner workout. You see, you and your partner are going to work together to accumulate meters on the rower. You can't work if your partner is not holding a double rack position with kettlebells, and you have to switch every 250 meters. So that's going to get hairy. And then the kind of same concept with the calorie bikes and a farmer's carry. So everybody's going to be doing those two couplets for the first 15 minutes of work. And obviously you'll swap at some point during that class. After everybody's completed those 2 7-minute pieces of work, the whole class is going to work together to do a burpee relay. And you'll figure out what that is once you get to class that day. That's all I'm going to say about it. Thursday, pressing, and more pressing. So we've got press for the strength. We've got strict press in the workout, looking to get about 60 or 70 reps into that weight you have there with the strict press in the workout by the time you're done with it. And then we're going to cool those shoulders down with some very, very light shoulder work with dumbbell front raises and side raises and pull aparts, working all the little muscles in your shoulders there to cool you down, make sure that accessory work is helping you out there. For CVC that day, this looks like a fun day. All right. Vitality, we know it's a lot of work. You got to pace yourself here, but we've got some cool movements going on, bringing the battle ropes out. Those are always fun. This lunge step up combo, it's a combination of a step up and a lunge at the same time. Really like it, but it does take some coordination. We get to slow you down a little bit with the front and lateral raises and then going into snowboarder hops. So you're going to get shoulder work on Thursday, no matter what, where you show up to CrossFit or CVC that day. And then we're going to slow things down a little bit at the end of class and start to practice some of our crow practice. If you're not sure what that means, show up to class and have some fun there. It's basically getting used to being upside down. And then Friday, we've got deadlift strength portion here. This is going to be a busy day here. You got to get your deadlifts done. And then you're going into a workout that's going to go over 15 minutes for most people. We don't want it to go over 20 minutes though. All right. So, but that's a lot of work to get done in one day between deadlifts and then all this other work that's got to be done with running, the pistols or lunges, and some type of pull up there. We won't have time with that to cover a whole lot about kipping. So you're going to need to know, have a scaling option that's appropriate for you that day, which this level method helps us figure that out. But if you want to learn more about kipping and how kipping applies to pull-ups, stay around for that skills acceleration class. We have another commitment this week. This is, I think, not quite as bad as the 30 on, 30 off this week, but still, when you throw jumping slam balls in for 10 efforts, it gets hairy. Push-ups and planks gives you a chance to catch your breath again, but back to the thrusters, total body press and squat at the same time, and then jackknives and supermans for those cores. And we're still going to be building some muscle there with the bent rows since there's no real pulling that day besides the jumping ball slam. Lifting that this week, we do some snatches on Wednesday, but they're fairly not super light weights, but light to moderate weights there. This is going to be us in a lift class, allow us to maybe get a little bit heavier with our snatch, and we're still going to be working on some pulling stuff there as accessory work. So basically big pulls all day that day on Saturday in the lift class. And the testing class, the level method testing class at 9 o'clock, a chance to get your jump rope test in and your sit-up test in and get your squat endurance test in. So this is a day, it's not often now with level method that we're not blowing out the quads every week. So this week, actually, we get a little break from that before we start it again the following week. So if you're doing the squat endurance test, I would take Friday off, especially if you're inclined to do pistols that day, so you can save it for your squat endurance the next day. And time permitting, we've got some extra credit for you that day as well. So to round out the week's, our CVC Confidence Day, again, if you're probably working out or going to work out Saturday, Friday is a good day to take off, because if you're going to deadlift heavy on Friday, you'll also end up deadlifting pretty heavy in the confidence strength version of CVC on Saturday. So this is our 5 minutes of work, one time around the room, 5 minutes of rowing, 5 minutes of a dumbbell rack and farmer's carry. This is kind of unique. We usually making a twist there. Usually it's kettlebells, burpees with some lunges, and then kettlebell suitcase deadlifts every minute on the minute, which means you go as heavy as you can for those 12 reps every minute there. And then we'll get that heart rate moving a little bit at the end of class, a little bit more with those max set of wall balls. All right, see you guys this week. Thanks.